Welcome back, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I hope that this video finds you and your family in good health. Now, here I move on to the program window. Stay tuned till the end because I want to share a hidden feature inside of the program window that's going to take your editing to the next level. Now, the program window is a display for your final movie. It's also an editor. It shares a lot of similarities with the source window. Starting down here, what you'll see is the play button. You'll also see forward one frame button. And on the other side, you can go back one frame. You can go to the in point or you can go to the out point. Here you have your in and out points. And here you have your marker and as well as your safe margins, which I explained in the source window. If you haven't seen that video, I'll put a link up above. Then on the other side, you have different editing buttons where here you would lift and here you would extract. Over here, you can export the actual frame that's on the screen. You can hit that and export it, name it, change to PNG, JPEG, and whatever you need, and then put it in the place that suits you in your project. You could also import it back into your project to use immediately right after capturing it. Now, on the other side here, you have the time code indicator that is married to the time code indicator that's here. So if you move the time code here, you can see the time code there moving as well. So that's put together. Now here you have the size, so you can have it at 10% if you were doing something out here. Then you can have it at any one of these different choices, 100%, or you could just have it fit your screen. On the opposite side, you have quality resolution, so you can be at full. You're running on a really fast computer. If you're editing on not that fast of a computer, you can have it at a half or a quarter. And right next to it, you have settings. So in here, you can do a number of things. Now, on the other side here, right next to the editing ratchet here or wrench, you have the in and out duration of the entire timeline. The one thing that I will make clear is that the program window, I'll hit the tilde key here again. The program window is married to the timeline. So if I move the time code indicator in the timeline, you will see that it is married to the program window. And similarly, if I make any changes to the program window, they will mirror down to the timeline. So if I go ahead and I'll change this marker. So I'll change this marker to red and hit OK. Notice that marker changed to red, and so did the marker that is on the timeline. That marker changed to red because it's essentially the same marker. Now, the program monitor differs from the source in that it refines your edit. It refines the clips in the timeline by using the lift and extract functions. So we have the lift here, and then you have the extract. So for example, right here, I hit I and O, okay, on the timeline. I'm able to simply lift this right there. And I can add something else in there or whatever I decide to do. I'm going to undo that. That's lift. Now with the same in and out points, perform what is called an extract. And you'll notice that the extract does exactly what this icon is showing you. As you can see, the triangles show you that it will lift and push it together, sort of like a ripple edit, which I'll go over a little later. So I'll hit this. And as you can see, it lifted, but then it also brought all the clips back together. So that gap, it got rid of the gap. With the source monitor, you're adding, it's an additive editor, whereas the program monitor here is a reductive and about refining your edit. The one thing that makes the program monitor so powerful is that if I were to close the source monitor, I can perform essentially all the edits that I need to perform using the program monitor all on its own. So for example, I can take a clip and I am able to bring this clip and hover it over the program monitor, and you'll see what happens. Look at that, voila. Pro tip. So basically, you're able to do an insert, you're able to replace, you're able to override, you're able to insert, you're able to overlay. You can do all kinds of things. So for example, insert, you can insert before. So if you notice here, my timecode indicator is right in the middle above 3829. Now, if I take 3822 and bring it over and I insert before, it'll do exactly that. Insert after, I can replace, I can insert just a regular insert, so it'll put it right in between and it'll cut the clip. If you get to an advanced level where you're all about your shortcuts and you want to be as fast as possible, this is the type of setting that you would most likely use. Now, if I double click a clip, it will bring up the source monitor back up again. I personally prefer editing this way because I'm able to see what I'm playing with over here, and I'm able to see what I'm working with and what I'm building. Sort of like, I call it, it's kind of like a string of pearls, and I'm stringing pearls together to make this really awesome necklace, which is your final movie on the timeline. So the second to last thing I want to go over in the program window is the button here, the button editor. So I can click that and you'll have a plethora of things to add. So for example, you have guides, you have rulers, you have, if you're using a virtual reality footage, you can add that in. You can add a revert trim session. You can add multicam editing toggle if you were doing that. You can close caption. You could do all kinds of things. There's a lot here that you can explore. That last thing that I mentioned that I wanted to go over is this button right here, which is the comparison view. So if I click on comparison view, I get two monitors. I get a reference monitor and I get a current monitor. Obviously, the current monitor is where the playhead is on the timeline. But this is really cool if I wanted to, say, color correct something. So for example, if I had this clip here and I wanted to compare it to the reference here and get the colors right so that the colors match, I can go ahead and go down here and go to the Lumetri and go here and select my white color on the marker, and then go back to this frame and look at the similarities. I can further change this a little bit to make sure that the hues match and the color temperature match rather. I can view it in horizontal split, I can view it in vertical split, or I can view it in side by side, which is my personal favorite. Outside of the comparison view, you could also switch over to shot or frame comparison. We're in frame comparison right now, but if you click this icon right here, you can go into shot comparison, which will allow you to go into a before and after you added that effect. Okay, that is all for the program window. I hope that you guys are really enjoying this Video Premiere Pro series that I'm doing. If you missed the last video, I'll make sure to link that below. From here, we move on to the next window, and that's the Tools panel. As always, guys, if I forgot something, make sure you leave a comment down below. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell for notifications. And as always, y'all, in good health with social distancing, keep shooting, y'all.